And shout out to Pop Mafia, man. You already showed the vibes.
Movavi. 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 Movavi.
Hey, we are live. Buffalo Bills football. We're still going. We're still in the playoffs. Before we get on to this AFC championship game and talk about it, I want to go back to the last game because there were a few little things I forgot to talk to you about. First of all, before the game started, Jordan Phillips was out there for pre-warm-ups, and he didn't have his puffy coat on. And I told him, or I yelled to him, "Hey, where's the puffy coat?" And he said back, "Oh, you better believe I'm putting that on right now. I'm getting that." And he did. He came back out with the puffy coat on. Before we got in, the Buffalo Bills had a tent outside and gave your own baseball card. So my wife and I got our own little baseball card there. Let me see if I can show you what it looks like. There you go. From the Bills. They put it in this nice little case too, which was really nice. I thought that was probably the best giveaway they've done all year because keychains and towels, dish towels, just wasn't cutting it. But that was pretty nice, actually. We like that. And then I shared with you on one of my videos that I was waving the wrong player at Brandon Codrington because it was on the back side and Jalen Virgil was on the front side, and I didn't have either one of their autographs. But before the game, Codrington came back over to me and explained that to him, and he laughed. He thought it was funny because he came over first. He said, "Oh, you got my picture this week." And I said, "I had it last week. I just showing you the wrong picture." So anyway, our punt returner, Brandon Codrington, signed that for me. So it will go up on the wall. I'm not sure where. I've run out of space. I've got almost every player up there. Still don't have Taylor Rapp. Still don't have Cole Bishop. And still don't have David Edwards. That's pretty much it for the starters on the team. Okay, so now on to why we're really here. Yeah, we hope we beat the Chiefs. Let's hope that for sure, Irving. And we want to do that for sure. Let's go Bills. It's good to see Jamie here. And Jersey beat the Chiefs. Everyone is a Bills fan tomorrow, Sunday. Game Sunday. But, yeah. So couple of people that don't usually come in to watch these videos, but I'm glad to see them here. Or maybe they do afterwards, but they're here for the live. Anyway, injuries for the Bills. Let's talk about that. Today it came out Taylor Rapp is not going to be able to play. He hurt his hip during the game versus Baltimore early on in the second half. Cole Bishop finished the game, and Cole Bishop, our rookie draft pick, will have to be out there to start at safety this week. Thought it was interesting that DeMar Hamlin wore the little bubblehead thing last game. That was the first time he had done that, but Cole Bishop's played, or not Cole Bishop, but Taylor Rapp has played a lot better since he got that concussion earlier in the year and started wearing that thing on the top. He is hitting even harder. Maybe he feels like he can go get him. But anyway, he won't be playing this week. Other injuries of note, Christian Benford, he had the concussion. He got a concussion on that onside kick. I went back and watched it again. You can see he's one of the guys that's just blocking, and one of the Baltimore players just runs right into him, and he bangs his head right into Christian Benford's head. I mean, that's why they're looking at changing the onside kick rules. that injury right there may change again, that now they may go 4th down and 20 or 25 instead of onside kick. And see, I don't know what they're going to do, but we don't want anybody getting injured. And we go all the way back to when that tight end for the Buffalo Bills got paralyzed several years ago on a kickoff. Another injury, Matt Milano, he just has soreness in his hamstring, and he sat out the first couple of days of practice, but he was a full participant today. Actually, yesterday he was a partial participant, but today he was full, and he looks good to go, and we need Matt Milano, that's for sure. And Taron Johnson, again, Taron was down during the game. He's taken some vicious hits in the last few weeks and has been down on the ground. One time they brought out a gurney for him and backboard. Fortunately, he got up and walked off on his own and kept playing. He's gone in for concussion protocol a couple of times and come back out and played. So he was a full participant in practice today too. Going back to Christian Benford, our corner, he was not a full participant in practice today, but he had the day off for a personal reason. I don't know seems like of late we've had a couple guys have to take days off because they've had the flu or because their wife was having a baby. I have no idea why Christian Benford missed today's practice, but hopefully everything is all right off the field for him, and he'll be ready to go. I think he's going to be able to play on Sunday. Okay, so here's the keys to the game. What do you do against the Chargers offense? What do we have to look at? The Chiefs offense. Sorry about that. Patrick Mahomes is obviously a really good quarterback. He's won MVP a couple of times. I didn't think he was all that great when I watched him play at Texas Tech, but he's turned out to be a fantastic quarterback. Little known fact, the Bills could have drafted him, but they traded their pick to Kansas City, and they drafted him, and we ended up getting Josh Allen in the very next season. But the key to stopping Mahomes, you got to get pressure on him. It's like every quarterback. If you can get pressure, it really helps. But when you get that pressure, you've got to contain him because he has sneaky ways to get out and get the first downs. And he's a deceptive runner. So you've got to go and have that pass rush with Rousseau and Epinesa and Von Miller. But if you can't make the sack, you've got to make sure that you don't let him out of the pocket. Don't let him go, because two things. That's when Kelsey gets open, and the most is he and Kelsey have got it down to an art form now when he's scrambling. But the other thing is when he does that little fake with the ball, don't leave your feet. We talked about this every year when we play Kansas City. He tends to do this little hand fake with the ball. Sometimes he's even past the line of scrimmage, and people leave their feet. Rousseau and Epinesa did it one season. The next season they stopped. They saw it on film. They stopped themselves. Last year, Rasul Douglas did it in the playoff game against the Chiefs, and there's a big video that, when you're up in the air, you can't stop yourself. It's sort of that basketball thing. When I played high school basketball. Yeah, the head fake, and the guy leaves his feet, and then he comes down and fouls you. But here, you're just doing a little fake with the ball, and Josh does it too. And then if you leave your feet, you're going to run right by him because it's a little hard to stop somebody when you're in air flying around. So, so we've got to keep our feet. And then the before mentioned Travis Kelce, we've got to keep a man on him. And when there's a scramble, Jill, just worry about keeping yourself, if you're selected to be on Kelce, when it breaks down in the scramble drill, don't get caught watching Mahomes run. Stay on Kelce. Don't let Kelce get open. And if you're in zone, break it down a little bit and stay on Kelce. The other player to watch out for is Xavier Worthy. Now, this, again, is another player. The Buffalo Bills made a trade with Kansas City. They got Xavier Worthy. We ended up getting Keon Coleman and Dwayne Carter out of the deal with 2 draft picks that they traded to us. Xavier Worthy is fast, not even deceptively fast. He is just fast. And he's their other weapon. Last week, he got open a few times. The first time we played them this year, in the first half, he really went off on the Bills. He was the major problem. In the second half, they made some adjustments and shut that down. If Benford's not playing, then maybe we just put Kaiir Elam on him, because Elam is so fast too. He's not the best cover corner, but speed on speed, maybe that's the answer. Benford and Douglas are obviously our starting corners. And then, the other player that can come out is Jamarcus Ingram. If Ingram had some great games early in the year when there were injuries, he had a few interceptions. So those are the corners we look forward to stop this Kansas City team. Now we go over to the other side of the ball with Kansas City. The player that I think is the best player in the NFL resides on the Kansas City Chiefs defense, Chris Jones. This guy is dominant. And if you watch the play before the field goal last year in the playoffs, when Josh Allen was trying to throw for a touchdown, he took one of our offensive linemen and knocked him into Josh Allen so that the pass would go awry. So really, in my mind, Chris Jones is the reason that they won that game. Chris Jones should have been an MVP of the Super Bowl last year too. This guy is amazing. He's just a monster. So when you line up on the field, you've got to first see where Chris Jones is. And if he's not on the field, I would do this. Run the ball, because he's not there to stop it. And Cook can go off if Chris Jones is not there to stop the run. Another player to watch for is Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie is a darn good corner, and he is a shutdown corner. And Buffalo wanted to draft him a few years ago, but Kansas City went up in front of us in the draft and stole McDuffie, and he has turned out to be a great player, and we ended up picking Kaiir Elam. I anticipate Trent being set on Shakir, and if Trent McDuffie takes Shakir, then it'll open up the other wide receivers. The reason I think this is because in the last couple of times we've played Kansas City, Shakir has gone off. Shakir's had great games. And I know that they're going to learn from that, and they're going to try to shut down Shakir. So if they do that, then it's going to leave Coleman and Cooper and Knox and all these guys, the wide receivers and tight ends on the team, open. So maybe that might be a good thing. The next player is Nick Bolton. So when you line up, you got to find out where Chris Jones is, and if he's not on the field, run the ball. And Trent McDuffie, who he's guarding, because we're going to probably not want to throw against him. And then Nick Bolton, he's their linebacker, and he is a stud. I want to make sure I know where Nick Bolton's coming, and if he is going to be blitzing, who's going to be picking him up. And the last player on Kansas City that I really want to key on is George Karlaftis. And here's the reason. Chris Jones gets so much demand on one side that Karlaftis draws the single coverage usually from the other side. Now, Spencer Brown still hasn't given up a sack this year, even through the playoffs or during the entire regular season, as our right tackle. And Deion Dawkins is in the Pro Bowl and should have been an all-pro player. So we do have good tackles to try to slow this down. Osiris Torrance at guard, he is a monster. I don't think he's missed a snap in the first 2 seasons of his NFL career. McGovern, the former Dallas Cowboy at center, has had a good season as a first year as center. And David Edwards is our other guard, and he's a veteran, so he knows what he needs to do. So our line is set up and is good. Who do I think is going to have a big day for the Bills? I think it's going to be Cook. I think James Cook is going to have a great game, especially when Chris Jones isn't on the field. And look for that. Look for when Chris Jones isn't on the field, what they do with the ball. I do think that Shakir, just because the last 2 games he's had a big game, he will have a big game. Now, if they do put McDuffie on him, then the other wide receivers are going to be having a good game, because McDuffie is by far their best corner. And so that's what I would look for on the offensive side of the ball for the Bills on who's going to have a great game. And Jersey Love makes a good point here. We do have to watch out for the referees as they tend to get roughing the passer calls, especially on the Kansas City Chiefs, that I just don't agree with. Last week, 2 Texas players ended up hitting each other, and it was called roughing the passer. Yeah, whatever. I think we need to not have that. I do think that the referee for this game is a pretty good referee. He's called a lot of Bills and Chiefs games, and he's almost 500 both ways. And his crew throws a lot of flags. They're particularly known for pass interference penalties, but he doesn't have his crew with him because it's the playoffs. It's different people, different, like an all-star group from different places. Well, Jersey says I'm flopping Mahomes. The only problem with that is we have flopping Josh Allen. And excuse me. Josh has drawn several penalties this year for that. So my thing on that is if the refs are going to give you the call, go ahead and do it. LeBron James has gotten away with that for years. To be the champs of the AFC, you got to beat the champs of the AFC. In the last 2 years, the champ of the AFC and the champ of the entire NFL as the Super Bowl winners are the Kansas City Chiefs. So this is the week we've been preparing for since I went to every single day of training camp. This is the day we've been preparing for as I went to every single home game this year. It's been an awesome season getting to know several of these guys, especially Kingsley Jonathan. Von Miller's assistant is a nice guy. Elianku, Daquan Jones. Some of these guys, I just have really enjoyed getting to know some of them. And some of those are not the biggest names on the team, but they're on the team and they're NFL players. So they're very talented players. So this is the game. This is it. This is it. So you know what? Say your prayers. That the game goes Buffalo's way. And the referees have the sight to call the penalties in Buffalo's way. Not evenly. And do your meditation. Do every what do they call those? If you want to make 3 rocks and throw them. Wade Boggs used to have a thing where he threw 3 rocks and before every game. Whatever you need to do, whatever jersey you need to wear or not wear or stuff away, this is the time for all superstitions to come out. Go Bills! Good to see you, Derek. Good to see you. Light a candle's a good idea. Everybody light a candle. Those Josh Allen candles are very popular around here, so that if you've been holding on to them, light them up. Light them up. I do hope Dalton Kincaid has a great game, but we say that every single game. Dalton Kincaid's going to have a great game, and we always hope he is, but they always seem to just be good games. Back to the Chiefs a little bit. We talk about where the Achilles heel is on the other teams. The Chiefs don't really have an Achilles heel because they don't do anything amazingly. They don't run amazing. They don't put up great passing stats. They don't put up great run stats. They're just good at everything. They're good at everything. So they don't really have an Achilles heel. So that's why as they go out and do their thing, and they've been doing their thing, they win. Now, Buffalo has a great record against the Kansas City Chiefs in the regular season. I think Josh Allen might be 4-1, but he's 0-3 against the Chiefs in the playoffs. We can get that monkey off our backs. It was great to see Bills fans had a big pep rally today. It looked like they had like 1,000 fans out at the town hall in Buffalo this morning. I can't imagine if we ever host a Super Bowl parade, what that'll be like and how I can ever get to it because I'd be afraid for my car or whatever. But, that's putting the car before the horse. Kansas City Chiefs this weekend. I do have a couple of friends that are Kansas City Chiefs fans. It's okay. We can't all be perfect. But 98% of this country wants the Bills to win, which is opposite of when I used to watch the Buffalo Bills go to 1, 2, 3, 4 Super Bowls in a row. By the end, nobody wanted the Bills to win the AFC Championship, except us Bills fans, of course. So one game at a time, he's right. Kansas City Chiefs football. Andy Reid has made that team. I don't know why the Philadelphia Eagles ever got rid of him. He's made Kansas City Chiefs a fantastic team. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, those guys have had a lot to do with it. We'll probably see a lot of Taylor Swift during the game, but that's okay. She's very talented, actually. I think so. If anybody has any questions for me now, this is when we usually have a couple of questions. So if anybody has a question, I do encourage everyone to please like this video. Please like it. And even if you're not watching it live, then please give me a like. And after the live is done, if you could also go on the video and leave a comment there, it just helps the algorithm. If you could give me a comment in there as well. So I wish I was going to be at the game. I had one of my former employees reach out to me that lives in the Kansas City area and asked me if I was coming down for the game, but ticket prices just got way out of control, and flight prices. I've heard some really bad things about the airline prices of this game, getting to the game. I know a lot of Bills fans were talking about flying to St. Louis and driving 3.5 hours down to Kansas City. So go Bills. You know what? That's what we write. That's what we end every broadcast with. So if nobody has any questions, Harold or Mercedes need to go through a table. Well, maybe Mercedes does, but if you're born a Bills fan, there's no reason to do that. We don't need to go through a table because we're already born members of the Mafia. Jersey knows how we end these videos. I've never seen her at one of my lives, but she knows how these go, and hopefully her kids know as well. So with that, we will go with the end of the video. So go Bills! And remember, the most important thing, God loves you! And so do I!
Movavi. Movavi.
Shout out to Pop Mafia, man. You already showed of eyes.
Hey, Pops, Bills, baby.
You missing it, the guys are dancing. Let's go, Dwayne! Yeah! Dwayne Carter! Woohoo!
And I'm gonna do everything else. Dave is gonna win the natty.
There it is.
Movavi. Movavi.